Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's another edition of London Ascending, where we find ourselves today in a place that the scenes have never been at, which is in a restaurant in the neighborhood of Chelsea, where Mr. Peck has invited Lady Laura Solholm von Bodishin to visit him um, and have dinner with him. So when Laura arrives in whatever transportation she has, she will find herself looking at a restaurant which is which doesn't a place which doesn't really look like a restaurant at all. It just looks like a housing block. However, outside is a man standing, waiting, clearly, sharply, very sharply dressed in a grey suit with red stripes on them. It's Mr. Peck, and he smiles as soon as you arrive.
Laura's just dropped off by her ghoul, and she exchanges a few words with him. And she's dressed for like a bit conservative, but for a night on the town, for a dinner party. And she will smile at the man and just.
Mr. Peck will smile and give her a nod, and then approach her and offers his arm so he can introduce her inside.
She will gladly accept.
As she accepts, he will fold his arm over hers and then gently walk towards the front entrance. As they are close to the front door, Mr. Peck will type in a code and a double door will open. So far, it only seems like a housing block, except for the security, obviously. And then as the door opens, they will enter a very small foyer. On the left side, they have a place where very personalized jackets can be placed for safekeeping. And depending on if you're wearing a dress, Mr. Peck will take your coat.
She does have a coat on, and she will just let you take it and have a look around, and seems somewhat anticipatory of.
If you continue to look around, you will find a stand, usually used by a maitre d', which has a list, a sort of guest list on it, you presume. However, there's no maitre d'. You're all alone inside the building. As Mr. Peck walks on, you get. And while the door behind you closes, as it closes, you can hear a soft hissing sound of electrical doors closing up, sealing up. And then as he walks through the door, the other set of double doors, which are stylish front doors. They're not wooden, but they're stylish enough. As he walks through and introduces you to the main hall, the entire main hall is very decorated, very pristine. They have very what you could call cold walls. They're cram walls with different sets of colored paintings and wall. What should I say? Wall decorations. There's 4 chandeliers in the room, and to the right side, and she moves on, a large, very modern kitchen where she could look into if she wanted to. She's literally viewing the people that are cooking. However, she can smell food,
Hmm.
but there is no kitchen staff. What she can see, however, is a single table in the middle, which is presented close to perfection, as you could say. It's a table set for two, where everything which you can think of, which could be on an introduction of a table, is there. Linen napkins, 3 layers of plates, all in different sizes. It's a very tiny bowl for fingers. Um, she can see 4 sets of glasses. She can see at least 9 types of cutlery, and that mirrored twice. Every piece of cutlery exactly 1.5 inch away from any border of the table. There is a single green-colored rose in the middle of the table, and that's what you're introduced to.
Well, I must say I'm flattered. You seem to have gone out of your way to set all this up.
I
Well, I
always
was
do
very
this when I
concerned.
have personal guests. Please have a seat.
She will smile and sit down.
As he sits down, he will push your chair closer to the table, if only just as a gesture. And then he'll smile at her and fold his arms as he asks, "Would you like something to drink? To clean the palate, perhaps? Some lemon water, or maybe something stronger?"
I will defer to your expertise in the culinary arts.
Thank you very much. I'm always very pleased to hear this. And Mr. Peck will walk himself down to the kitchen, and she can see him as he works there, and she can hear him um, open what you assume to be either a very cold storage refrigerator, and you'll hear water pouring. And then he comes over to the table with a bottle wrapped in linen, so you can't see the brand.
Hmm.
Or a second glass that's on the table is poured full of water. Then he'll pour water, cold water, as you can clearly see without bubbles, um, into the glasses for you and himself. Then he'll walk back to the kitchen. And then he'll come back to the table carrying nothing, just his smile. And he takes a seat and says, "I must thank you for you accepting my invitation. I was not sure if you would come, for we haven't really spoken privately
Not so
much.
far. Not so far. But we're here to remedy that.
Well, that's why I've introduced you as one of our more active members in the court. Um, what I would suggest to be an Elysium regular, and in this, you especially being Harpy, is exactly one of the reasons I invited you over." Mr. Peck will pick up the water and he will drink from it, and you can see that he cleans his mouth with it, and then he'll take a bowl and just let the water spit the water back out. The bowl obviously is made of porcelain, so technically he's cleaning his mouth with water.
Laura will just do the same. Follow his example.
So, as I understand, I would like to, for us to know each other a little bit better. And for me, that is by showing who I am through what I like to do, which is I'd like to cook. This is what I do, being a Toreador, and at this moment representing the clan as Primogen. So I hope you can stomach my food, as he says with a smile. Obviously, you can eat, but some might consider it more strenuous than others. But
I
you'll
do find it problematic, but I will try my very best.
well, I have only but one rule in the restaurant. You don't have to eat your everything I present you. Just have at least one taste. One taste is for me enough to not be insulted as a chef. It's all I ask. I don't want you to clean your plate, especially for us. It could be dangerous and at least could be a strenuous activity. And then he'll rise up, if you allow me, and then he'll walk to the kitchen and to what you would call a larger cups with a very small spoon um, arrive, and he puts it in front of you. And as he puts it in front of you, you can see it's a soup. And when you smell it closer, you can clearly smell onions and beef into the soup. And then Mr. Peck will simply smile and say, I always try to start with a poor dish. This is what people would call a soupe l'oignon, which technically translates himself in onion soup. It's obviously a French recipe, and it dates back to Roman time even. I start with the poor soup because it's easy to make for me, and it's a good starter to activate the flavors and your petal of your tongue. And then he takes a seat, places the napkin over his legs, and then slowly starts to eat.
Laura will look at it and just what you'll see that what she'll do is she'll just not play with it, but she will take her spoon and just lightly just twirl around in it for a bit, and
Okay.
her face is quite close. She's obviously smelling a lot to this.
The spoons are um, polished silver. They're very light.
Hmm. And Laura will take a sip, and you'll see that either she's twirling it around in her mouth, or uh, she does swallow this, but it's like she's probably feeling the taste of it.
I should taste it. You can taste that it's. I don't know if you're familiar with culinary flavors, but you can taste that it has a garlic spice in there as well as crouton, which is dry bread mixed in there,
Yeah, croissants. Yeah.
along with some fresher vegetables, so to speak. It's an interesting combination, which is very classic French, but it's done with extreme precision.
She will just, as she's taken a mouthful, and she does spend a willpower to keep it down. Um, since she does not have the food, eat food merit, she will just in French reply. You called it a poor dish. I would call it a very wonderful and masterfully crafted dish, but I suppose you're referring to the cost of putting it together.
It's not only, yes, it's the cost also. It's it's a soup that would never be tasted by noblemen on the case of the ingredients being so very cheap, considering the time when the soup was invented. Mr. Peck also does not finish his plate. Um, it it shows bad decorum for him to completely ravage his soup. You can only drink eat so much. See that you're done with the tasting, he'll simply smile and says, "I of course have a little more," and he will then pick up both bowls and walk back to the kitchen, only to come back with another dish, which is of friends making. And as he places it in front of you, you can see a a French chocolate souffle.
Hmm.
It's a it's a round cup placed on a bowl. Next to the cup is placed a what you call a milk pourer with finely grained sugar, like powder, but you can
Hmm.
pour it over the hot chocolate cake yourself in any way you like.
Hmm. Again, she will do a lot of smelling, like
Oh,
almost.
it's very strong, very rich of chocolate flavor. Um, it's like very dark chocolate.
Hmm.
As you look at the other side of the table, where Mr. Peck obviously starts eating, you can see that he uses a very small, thin spoon to eat from the middle to the side. And as soon as he steps down the middle, you can see that uh, the middle of the souffle is still liquid, and it's oozing creamy chocolate. It also immediately opens very a sweet smell when he stabs into it.
I must ask, as she's tasting and trying her best to taste, she just says, "You must tell me, did you do this professionally
Oh,
or long?"
this is what I do for a hobby for the last few centuries now. Yes, I only found out that I had a passion for this after I went to the Americas and had a proper introduction to the at that moment
Of all the
French
places to
cuisine.
learn cuisine.
Right. Yes. Well, it was because I was in L'Orléans, uh, New Orleans, that is.
Ah, oh, yeah, it's an interesting mix from what I've heard.
As this is Mr. Pack finishes this, he couldn't place it down. He he smiles. He likes it that you at least taste a little bit, and he'll pick it up and say the next dish takes a little bit of time. And from the kitchen, he says, "Of course, I have not only invited you to show my culinary art because I could have done that in other ways. No, I've invited you because I would like to make an exchange with you.
Intriguing.
It's an exchange of a favor for a favor. I am looking to support one of the members in court to a certain position in which I believe you could help me.
Hmm. That might be something I could help you with.
At this moment, the court is lacking the the strength in some way to have many people of standing. And I'd like to change that by giving people that I believe are of right stock to have a position within it. Recently, we have seen into this city a woman of Scottish birth that is coming to this city and is looking to have a proper role within the court. And I would like your support to see if we can make her into a Harpy representative of Clan Malkavian.
I've met her once. She seemed, well, what shall we say, mission. But I could use, well, we could use another harpy. That is
I agree.
very little doubt.
I agree, and since I find my own clan somewhat lacking of late in this social environment, since many Toreador that we have right now are either focused on roles they already have, Primogen, Keeper, Whip, and such, Hound. We have no real specialists when it comes to the social. So I'd rather branch out and support someone who is new as a gift from me to her. And I'm willing to, of course, trade in a favor for this. From me personally, towards yourself, for a dual introduction. One of the introductions, obviously, into the life as a harpy, which is, to say the least, a very specific job within our society. And the second one is to have a proper introduction by you onto your Primogen.
As in,
As in, I haven't spoken to him in quite a while, and I've never spoken to him in my new role as Primogen. And I think, as Primogen, it would only be proper if I have a harpy make this known to him, so he can, as a colleague, find time to meet another.
surely, I would be able to facilitate this and help this young redhead, well, young, this lovely redhead newcomer in the, well, the ways of the harpies. Surely I could assist with that.
would be, and then he leaves from the kitchen carrying two new plates, obviously. Uh, this time, as he places it in front of you, you can see a, another poor man's plate. It's a combination of a very dark-looking sauce, very strong uh, pepper pepper bell smell comes off it. Yeah, when you look close, you can see tomatoes, onions, zucchini, eggplant, carrots, and bell peppers, basil. It's a it's a very provincial recipe, as you can see it, and he's offering you the simple vegetable stewed mix of ratatouille.
Magnifique.
I assumed myself, and judge me if I'm wrong, that high-end cooking is something that people are often not introduced to anymore after years and years of being embraced as such.
That is perhaps correct. I cannot talk for everyone, but I believe that quite a few consider it a thing of the past. But
For me, it's a way of life, being around food. And Mr. Peck would then use a fork and a knife and stick a stack of different layers of ratatouille onto the fork and then simply bite it. And if you bite it, you can clearly um, notice that it's a combination of an oven baked dish as well as steamed, which is not odd. But you can hear the vegetables has after a layer of some crisp, so to speak, they can still break as if they were. It's an odd combination, not for the dish, but it's again very meticulously made.
hmm,
The plates almost look identical, both plates, other than for the sauce droppings, because those are dropped in a circle around it, but obviously not exactly the same size with drops, because it's still you're still using organic materials.
hmm. I would not say that this is a hobby for you. I would say you are an artist in this field. But then again, as you said, I'm not much of a connoisseur of such things. Not
But
anymore, anyway.
well, it is what I do. But as you can see in this small restaurant of mine, it's it's more of a hobby than something I really start up and try to invest in. It's very hard to find the standards that I personally place onto anything I cook. Therefore, having a chef would be a very, very odd way for me. And to cook everything myself would be counterproductive, since most people that eat don't eat during the times that I am active,
Well,
obviously.
I have heard of something called dinner in the dark. Maybe that's something you should look at if you have
It's a
such.
very modern thing. I
Yes,
think, although it's an idea, I think that food should be observed, smelled, tasted, and sometimes even touched.
I'm quite sure
Maybe
that the
no.
kine will, for whatever their tastes, they will appreciate it by nature more
By
than kindred
nature,
will.
of course, but like I said, I rarely break out so much cuisine on the simple fact that it's hard to find people of our kind that can truly appreciate it. And I'm not saying that you can't appreciate it. I'm just merely saying that to indeed be a connoisseur in this, then you can taste everything as it's intended.
I quite understand. It is quite all right. I have known one or two my time. You seem to have a very complete, normal reaction to food. But, oh well.
Mr. Peck smiles and then takes his plate and your plate if you finish with it away, hoping that you have tasted at least one piece.
Oh, she
And,
has.
and then he would walk to the kitchen, and then he'll say, as a final thing, the last dish I made is kind of a joke. It's it's considered to be one of France's biggest mistakes, other than the bloody pyramid in front of the Louvre. Um, it's invented, as to say, in 1898 by Miss Tartin, and he gets out a miniature pie. Um, it smells like apple pie with cinnamon, sugar, butter. But when he presents it in front of you, a miniature apple pie, so to speak, you can clearly see that it's a tarte tatin, which which is, if you look at it, a apple pie but upside down.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's a special recipe, and this time it's in miniature form, which is something you probably have never seen.
Well, it's only a joke if you think so, of course. It looks splendid.
Oh, it's quite tasty, quite sweet as well. But then again, I do have somewhat of a sweet tooth when it comes to mm, dishes. And he himself uh, takes the tart in his hand, turns it around twice, then takes a knife, cuts it exactly in half, and then cuts it again in half, taking 25% of it, and then puts it in his mouth. And as he does so, um, you can really see the insides of the apple pie, which seem quite simple, but when you look closely, you can see at least three layers of different things in there.
Hmm. I must have a taste. And she will have a taste of that as well.
Mr. Peck will smile as you take it, as you eat it, and he will smile, um, be feeling proud. You can also, of course, clearly see he has no problem keeping down the food or making a focus check to see if he can keep it down. For him, this all seems natural.
Hmm. But tell me one thing. If I were to do this for you, this introductions, and begin to instruct this Markavian for this help, um, did you have anything in mind?
for the introduction to your Primogen, since it's a milk courtesy form in my mind, and I could owe you a trivial boon. Of course, more difficult matter of training a newcomer, which I want to invest in to see how well she's doing in court. I would say a minor boon now, up front, and when she is installed and properly taught, another one. Those two minor boons could, if she continues to perform well, within a year be turned into one major boon.
Laura sits there and ponders this for a moment, and she just. What is your read on her? More so than just what is normally observed.
I think she is young girl, young elder, I should say. She seems of good stock. She's eager to serve society and to make headways into our social circles. She seems to be very very well raised, of good stock. I have the feeling, although she doesn't use her title, that she is from Scottish noble birth by origin, merely by the way she speaks, by the way she acts, and the way she keeps herself pristine. But then again, I am not the expert. I refer to you as more of an expert when it comes to observing socialites.
Quite so. The thing is, I have not really had too much opportunity to speak with her.
I assume that in the coming month she will try to host a soiree to show what she can do.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
But I'm sure you'll be invited as one of the primary guests.
I would meet her alone, privately, if to just get a better read, shall we say, on her. If you would, well, it would put my mind at ease.
If I do what? Sorry.
I would meet her privately and have a talk with her. More.
Oh yes, of course. If you feel like she is not the material that could be Harpy, I'm very eager to know this, for it would be a lucid investment. After all, I'd like to invest in a person to make sure that she performs well enough, so to speak. Wouldn't you say?
We always have to be sure of our investments.
Of course.
Which is why I would ask that I first have just somewhat of an idea of her. I haven't really had much of an idea of her yet. I did only meet her once, so. But I'm quite sure that we can find out a satisfactory solution for the both of us.
Of course, I have no doubt that we will.
Mm. Laura just smiles. Huh? She once again like just takes in the surroundings, takes in the care of which the plates and everything has been lined up.
Yeah, you can clearly see that it's done to extreme perfection, so to speak. Someone with OCD could just smile without replacing anything.
Mm. Yeah, okay. Mm. Well, is there other things well, other than, of course, general things of interest?
I was just wondering what your read was on the current social doings within the city. Of course, we still have the Sabbat issue to worry about, but I wouldn't want the socialites of the city to suffer because I assume that at all times the Sabbat will be at our doorstep willingly attacking. We can't like we can't be too held back by the fact that people will want to take back the city as they see it.
Well, that is if they can make a real foothold when it comes down to it.
Well, I
Um,
assume that they're already in the city, at the moment hiding.
oh, hiding, hiding. There has been a clash or two, as far as I know, by someone who might be Spot. But as far as I'm aware, that's nothing concrete. And you can make a perception alertness or empathy, please.
Oh God, that's a huge pool. Sorry, this one. Dip, dip, dip.
I have a specialty, so that's 5 successes for me.
Yeah, I have a specialty as well. What's the difficulty? Because if it's six, then boom.
Yeah,
One, two,
you
three,
can you
four,
can
five,
tell that,
six.
that she brushes off that. And she says, as far as I'm aware, there's something about when she says that that's a little off, maybe.
Well, with seven successes, I assume that I clearly get that you have a more precise idea. And
That
Mr. Peck
would
will then,
maybe be a fair
yeah,
assessment.
Mr. Peck will then simply say, well, whenever they do appear, I hope they won't get a jump on us, so to speak. That they, the willing and needed parties that are focusing to keep this city ours are well informed.
Oh, I believe they are.
Well, then I must say, what more do we want if the right people are on the job, as they say? Then
Hmm.
all we can do is trust in them. But if you find yourself in need of any assistance, feel free to contact me through the normal channels.
Hmm. At this moment, I don't need anything. But who knows what might happen in the future. The only thing that gives me concern.
No, no,
This is
please.
this is not the best time to have a new sheriff in the city. That is the only thing that really bothers me. It could have been uh, timed a hell of a lot better to have a replacement of sheriff.
Well, I must say the previous chef has done admirably of late, but I believe it's some time everyone deserves a break. Maybe you just feel tired, just wants to get out for a while, maybe see some more of the world. After all, we don't have to stick around to one place. We have legs, you know. And he smiles at that little joke, and then simply says, I understand if our previous sheriff wants to leave. I do believe that some one of my clan already is eager to step in and show what she can do.
Hmm. Well, Camilla seems to take pride in her physical prowess.
Well, she is known for this.
Quite so.
But I do believe the young Gangrel, their current champion of the ring, so to speak, gives her an admirable challenge. I just wonder if she can handle the politics that comes along with the position within the court. After all, being a sheriff is more than just wearing a star.
Which is why I think that your clanmate is the wiser choice. But
I
then
agree.
again,
But
Camilla
after,
is well in the affairs of the court.
well, I totally agree that when it comes to social standing and reputation, Miss Camilla does indeed hold the better deck of cards. However, we shouldn't rule out this newcomer. After all, she is of the same blood that our previous Gangrel is, and if he gets a say in this, then it might turn out to be another Gangrel. I'm not sure what the Queen will say on that, other than I know that she is now currently put a lot of trust in this Diane to um, to educate her son, Childer.
Yes, quite curious choice. But Diane does not
I
seem
think
to
it's a,
be
think it's a
often
test.
chosen.
I think the Queen wants to know who she can trust. After all, you know how she can be.
Hmm, quite so. And with so many newcomers, I suppose it's not too unreasonable to test them.
No, it is not, especially in this time and age.
Quite so.
Is there anything I could help you with? After all, you've been very busy with your job, being one of the only harpies in the city other than Delilah. I'm sure you'll have much work making the accurate background checks of the known socialites in the city.
Well, I do keep busy. It's not too bad, though.
No, it's not. I'm happy to hear this.
No, people are, well, what shall we say? I'm quite confident that most people here are, well, I am a relative newcomer myself compared to many of the people who have been here for quite some time.
Still,
Do not-
you've achieved the position of Harpy. That says that you are either a very quick riser within our ranks or a reputable person to begin with. I assume that you've had either introductional letters or someone boasting for you when it comes to your assignments.
I tend to let my actions speak for themselves.
Hmm.
And
Admirable indeed.
I do not have, well, I do not really have anyone to speak for me.
Well, if it counts for anything, you'll have me to speak for you on your behalf. After all, I do believe that you've earned this reputation that you have of being a stout regular within our Elysium and being absolutely willing to assist and help with anyone concerning social issues.
I thank you for your kind words.
Mr. Peck will smile and says, "Could I offer you a drink of any kind?"
Thank you. I must apologize, but I have brought my own. Not that I do not wish to partake, but
Have you brought your own?
you know of my clan's proclivities.
Right. Are very unusual.
I tend to bring
Yeah.
just a force of habit.
I'm going to make a roll because technically you're bringing your own food to a restaurant. That's a serious faux pas. Although being a Ventru, I understand out of character.
Yeah,
In
she
character,
just
he's
she just. It is more of a emergency supply, shall we say. If you were to bid me you must. I must apologize if you meant something other than biting. Then I would be delighted to have you offer me something.
Mr. Peck is trying to hide the fact that he is shocked that you brought your own drink. With a specialty, I don't think you're being a
No,
you are even able. So he'll keep his face pleasant, although shocked, inside, and says, "Well, when I said any kind, I do mean any kind, but I do consider your position to be a little bit more awkward than most. I do have my own variety of blood types on store, but I do understand if you rather not reveal this. After all, it could be quite awkward for some."
Well, that is one thing. Another thing is it's just the embarrassment of perhaps not finding something well preserved and well presented to my taste merely because of my proclivity.
I do have a very, very wide stock to pour from.
Of which I do not wish to drink you out of the house.
As you wish. Mr. Peck will go to the kitchen and he will bring back a bottle of red liquid and he will pour it into a wine glass.
If you continue to pamper me, like this, I'm not sure. People might start beginning to talk.
Talk?
She's obviously making a joke.
Yeah, but he's frowning since he's very um
You know,
uh yeah,
people.
right.
She has a smile on her face.
Well, if they do talk about us, let them hope that it will be nothing bad and only good. And
How
he
could it be?
smiles.
How could it be bad?
Well, you never know what people might think. After all, only a Tremere or a Toreador could truly mind read within the other.
Hmm.
And at this moment, she should be happy that she couldn't read his mind. Um,
I'm quite sure I know exactly what he was thinking about. Out of character, but oh well. She just smiles and just says, "Well, so is it a particular vintage you find to fit your tastes?"
oh, this vintage is I just drink it as an a last bottle of drink I have before after dinner, an after dinner drink, but not as sweet as most after dinner drinks are in Paris.
Hmm.
Would you like some?
Yes,
And
please.
as he pours in the drink, you can see it's you can instantly smell it's a more fruity smell that comes off it. It's very rich. It doesn't have any oil to it, so it goes smoothly. And Mr. Peck will simply say it's a South African brand. It's um it's produced all around the year. Normally, people would say it's rather cheap, but sometimes cheap is exactly what things need.
Hmm.
If you want to make an appraisal check of what Mr. Peck calls cheap, that's all right.
Uh, yeah, I'm quite sure I can make an educated guess that is probably beyond pretty much a lot of people's paycheck. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
you
goes
could
without
consider
saying.
it a few people's monthly salary in one glass.
Uh,
Yeah,
and she will take it, and again, there's a bit of smelling beforehand. She takes it in, takes the all the sensations of the smell in before she drinks. She doesn't drink a lot. She just has something just roll in her mouth over her tongue. She'll just sit there and enjoy it for a moment. Just, this is pampering indeed. Delicious. I must apologize. I believed you were offering me vitae. So
oh
this
yes,
is
please. It's amazing. Yes, I know. The first moment I tasted it, I couldn't believe I found this.
at a manageable price. That's
Uh,
good.
it's rather it's rather expensive, but then again, there is not really a price to put on good taste now, is there?
Indeed not. No, there isn't. However, quite a few people seem to go quite, well, astray when they are considering good, well, style, good taste. That is a quite hard thing to quantify by today's standards.
It is indeed. I'm glad I've met someone who understands this. Good taste hasn't always to do with money. Sometimes it just has to do with class and coming from the right stock, if you know what I mean.
Hmm. That we can agree.
Mr. Peck will swirl the wine in his glass for a moment, close his eyes, and you can clearly see that well, you can actually roll. You can roll awareness if you want, but you can see that he's using his aspects to even enhance whatever flavor he's tasting
Hmm.
through one of his disciplines.
Hmm. It's not too outlandish.
Yeah, with his acute senses of smell and taste, um, he he softly licks his lips and then says, "Oh well, we can't indulge too much. After all, we might stick into it."
And you cannot spend all your time pampering me. You have,
Why not?
well,
He says, "Why not?" as a joke.
hmm. Well, I would be, well, I might grow accustomed to it. And then you would be
Right,
doing nothing else.
and what would people say, right? I haven't
Indeed.
forgotten. Well, if you ever find yourself close enough in the neighborhood, don't mind. Um, Give me a call to see if I'm around, and I'm happy to cook for you. You can even be in the kitchen while I do it.
Hmm. I would
I
very
don't
much like
mind
that.
cooking for other people. After all, if food is truly enjoyed by the cook as well as the one who tastes it, would not waste it.
Hmm. You are truly a worthy primogen of your clan.
Well, big shoes to fill. Callisto didn't really seem to understand the different layers of artisan, so to speak. But
Hmm.
she's now of the past, and I'm here to say that even beyond simple arts as music or painting, we have arts that go beyond the basics, arts of sword fighting, arts of
Hmm. A fine cuisine.
this 21st century.
Hmm. Well, I will enjoy your artistry.
Well,
Quite a few.
I'm happy that I can make you enjoy this. And he then rises up and takes your plate and another, his own plate, back to the kitchen.
Hmm. She sits there, enjoys the moment.
When he comes back, he brings a small bag of paper cotton. In it, when he hands it to you, you can find uh, two of those tiny tartans he made,
Hmm.
and I will give it to you. I'm not one to give out doggy bags, really, but since I made them, and I don't want to have them go to waste, I would like you to have them as a gift.
Oh, I thank you very much. Thank you. She'll gladly accept. Uh, she doesn't seem to mind at all. She will gladly accept.
They still feel warm.
Hmm. She will. She'll begin to. She will get ready to take her leave. Uh, but she will spend some time conversing with Mr. Peck. But if he is making ready to have her leave, she will not outstay her welcome.
Oh no, he's reveling in the fact that she's here, and he wouldn't push her out or make any gesture that she should leave. He likes the fact that she's here.
Hmm. Laura will spend. Laura will actually stay a while, and yeah, the two of them will, however, eventually probably split up. And when she does, she will thank Mr. Peck for a very lovely um, evening and a lovely experience. And at some point, she will take her leave.
As she leaves, again, she can really hear the fact that the doors are mechanically sealed with some kind of process. And as they're sealed, then um, he will walk with her to the outside as a exit of this building. And as they're waiting for her ride, he will just give her a nod and say, "This was a lovely evening. I hope there will be more to follow."
Likewise.
And then as she gets picked up by, I assume, her ghoul, she
Hmm.
can drive off to another location, taking on Tots with her.
Hmm.
And Mr. Peck will go back inside. We'll go back inside. Thank you for playing. Thank you for watching. I guess this is the end of the scene. Good night.
Good night.